Picture a sun-baked highway in northern Italy. You hear it before you see it. Just this high-pitched, screaming wail of a V12 engine ripping toward redline.
Right, the unmistakable sound of a Ferrari.
Exactly. A pure masterpiece of speed, engineering, and status. But for a moment, I want you to cut that sound dead in your mind.
Okay.
Replace it with the flat, stubborn, grinding clatter of a diesel tractor, just caked in mud, churning through some field in the Po Valley.
I mean, those are two completely different sounds. They belong to entirely separate worlds.
Right.
One represents, the absolute pinnacle of luxury and racing pedigree, and the other is just brute agricultural force.
Yeah, and you would think those two machines share zero DNA.
Sure.
But if you were to crack open the gearbox on that mud-stained tractor, and then pry open the engine bay of that pristine Ferrari, and you pull the commercial clutch out of both of them.
You would find the exact same part.
The exact same part. Same supplier, same serial numbers, stamped right into the steel.
It's just a standard, off-the-shelf commercial clutch. But for the farmer buying it for his tractor, it costs 10 lire.
Right.
But for the elite driver buying it for their Ferrari, 1,000 lire.
Wow.
Yeah, a 100 times markup for the identical piece of metal.
Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to this custom deep dive, where we are on a mission to explore one of the most legendary clashes of titans in automotive history.
The feud between Enzo Ferrari and Ferruccio Lamborghini.
Right, because this isn't merely a story about cars for you to listen to.
No, not at all. This is a story of monumental egos, mechanical genius, and a grotesque, arrogant markup that birthed an entire supercar empire.
Yeah. So to really understand how a mundane tractor part ignited a full-blown supercar war, we first have to look at who Ferruccio Lamborghini was.
Right.
And, why he was tearing apart a Ferrari in his own garage to begin with. Because he wasn't born into royalty.
Far from it. I mean, he grew up on a farm in the Emilia-Romagna region, but he was always drawn to the mechanics of farming equipment rather than, the farming itself.
Makes sense.
And during World War II, he was drafted into the Italian Royal Air Force and stationed on the island of Rhodes as a mechanic. And that environment was basically a crucible for him.
Because he's not in a nice facility?
Exactly. He wasn't working in a pristine factory. He was cannibalizing wrecked bombers to fix broken trucks. He learned that machinery is just machinery. Like a hydraulic pump from a plane can work on a tractor if you know what you're doing.
Which strips away a lot of the mystique, right?
Oh, absolutely.
When you spend years keeping a military moving with scrap metal, you don't look at a machine and see magic. You just see nuts, bolts, and physical forces.
Precisely. And after the war, he brings that mechanical pragmatism back to a devastated Italy.
Right.
He starts buying surplus military vehicles, jeeps, trucks, engines, and transforms that leftover armor into agricultural machines.
That's brilliant.
By 1948, he launches Lamborghini Trattori. He essentially turns wartime scrap into a massive, highly successful tractor empire.
So he builds this colossal fortune with his bare hands. And by 1958, his wealth buys him the ultimate prize.
The Ferrari 250 GT.
Right. It is the defining status symbol of the era. But owning it turns into an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it really does.
Ferruccio has a heavy mechanic's foot. He drives his cars hard. And every time he pushes the 250 GT, the clutch burns out. It simply cannot handle the torque.
Right, and just for context, a clutch is that vital friction point that connects the engine's power to the transmission.
Okay.
If it's too wet for the engine's output, it just slips, overheats, and burns up. So Ferruccio has to keep taking it back to the Ferrari factory in Maranello.
And this is where the tension starts to really build.
Oh, yeah.
Because he doesn't get the VIP treatment you would expect for someone dropping a fortune on an exotic car.
Not at all.
When he brings the car in, the Ferrari mechanics literally wheel it away into a back room, completely out of sight.
Yeah.
They make him wait in the lobby for hours. They treat this wealthy industrialist like an intruder.
And the secrecy just drives him crazy. Finally, he decides to bypass Ferrari's autocracy entirely.
He's had enough.
Exactly. He takes the 250 GT to his own tractor factory and orders his chief mechanic to tear the transmission apart.
And what they find is just staggering.
Yeah.
A Borg and Beck clutch.
The exact same one.
The commercial off-the-shelf part that Ferruccio uses in his own small tractors.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what that part costs because he buys them in bulk for 10 lire.
Right.
But Enzo Ferrari is charging him 1,000 lire under the guise of it being some exotic, bespoke component.
What's fascinating here is how Enzo Ferrari actually viewed his business.
How so?
Well, Ferrari didn't care about road cars. To him, they were just a necessary evil.
Really?
Yeah, they were just a way to fund his true passion, which was his racing team, Scuderia Ferrari. The road cars were a cash cow. So overcharging for commercial parts wasn't just a business strategy. It was a reflection of his contempt for the wealthy amateurs he believed were just, funding his racing addiction.
That's like finding out your $1,000 designer smartphone uses the exact same battery as a $10 gas station flashlight.
Exactly.
But armed with this discovery, Ferruccio goes straight to Maranello to confront Enzo Ferrari face to face.
And the tension in that room must have been suffocating.
Oh, I can only imagine.
These are two powerful Italian egos just colliding. Ferruccio walks right up to Il Commendatore and says, "Ferrari, your cars are rubbish."
Wow, just right to his face.
Point blank. He tells him that these elite sports cars are built with tractor parts.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because I'm trying to understand Enzo's thought process here.
Right.
You have a wealthy repeat customer who is a mechanical engineer handing you a free engineering fix for a known flaw in your product.
Yeah, a silver platter.
Was Enzo just ruthlessly protecting his brand's mystique? Or was he genuinely that insecure about a tractor maker giving him advice?
This raises an important question about the psychology of unchecked power.
Okay.
Enzo Ferrari was an authoritarian. He demanded total reverence. His absolute certainty that he had nothing to learn from a quote-unquote peasant tractor maker just completely blinded him.
So he doubles down.
Exactly. Instead of thanking Ferruccio, he goes for the jugular.
Right. Enzo looks him dead in the eye and says, "You are a tractor driver, a farmer. You shouldn't complain driving my cars because they're the best cars in the world."
It's just so arrogant.
And then he twists the knife. He says, "You will never be able to handle a Ferrari properly."
It is a chilling dismissal. But Ferruccio walks away from that meeting with a singular, icy realization.
Which is?
You don't mess with a farmer.
And Ferruccio doesn't just storm off and announce a new car company right then and there. His revenge starts quietly in his own garage.
He channels that rage into pure engineering.
Yeah.
He takes his, quote, rubbish 250 GT and just guts it.
Tears it down.
Yeah, he drops in a larger, heavy-duty Borgen-Beck clutch one that can actually handle the torque. But he doesn't stop at just fixing the flaw.
He wants to make it better.
Much better. He rips out Ferrari's stock cylinder heads and custom builds his own dual overhead cam cylinder heads.
Okay.
Then he bolts on 6 horizontal Weber carburetors.
Now, if you're not a gearhead, that might just sound like technical jargon.
Sure.
Let's break that down for the listener. Why do those specific upgrades matter so much?
Well, think of an engine like a marathon runner.
Okay.
To run faster, you need to breathe better.
Right.
A carburetor mixes air and fuel. A standard setup is kind of like breathing through a straw. But bolting on 6 horizontal Weber carburetors, that's like opening your mouth and taking massive, gulping breaths of pure oxygen.
And the dual overhead cam.
Cams are what open and close the engine's valves to let that air in and push the exhaust out. A dual overhead setup allows those valves to open wider and much faster. So Ferruccio essentially gives the Ferrari engine bigger lungs and a faster respiratory system.
So it can just pull in way more power.
Exactly. The engine can now rev higher and produce significantly more power.
And the results are terrifying. This modified Ferrari is suddenly 25 kilometers per hour faster than the stock factory models.
Which is a huge jump.
Yeah. It's hitting 230 to 240 kilometers per hour. And Ferruccio knows exactly how to use this speed to inflict maximum psychological damage.
Because Ferrari's factory test drivers used to take the new cars out on the local highways to test them.
Right.
And Ferruccio knew their routes.
He would literally wait on the Bologna-Cantagallo-Florence highway for these factory drivers to come blasting by.
It's so petty, I love it.
It is. He'd pull out, match their speed, and then blow past them in his modified 250 GT.
And they'd catch up to him at a toll booth, just completely bewildered, asking, "Lamborghini, what did you do to that car?"
And he would just smile and drive away.
It was pure psychological warfare.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it was a vital proof of concept.
But I have to push back a little here.
Okay.
Beating a few test drivers on a highway is a fantastic prank. It definitely strokes the ego. But why risk a massive, stable fortune from the tractor business to build an entirely new car company just out of spite?
Because those highway battles were his aha moment.
How so?
When Ferruccio saw Ferrari's test drivers staring at his taillights, he realized something profound. If a tractor mechanic working in a shed could out-engineer the great Enzo Ferrari.
Then Ferrari wasn't invincible.
Exactly. The emperor had no clothes. Ferruccio realized the market was wide open for a car that was faster, more reliable, and far more luxurious.
Wow.
The spite was the fuel, but the brilliant business opportunity was the engine.
But building a supercar empire from scratch requires world-class talent. You can't just do it in a barn forever.
No, you can't.
And in a twist of pure cinematic irony, Enzo Ferrari accidentally hands the greatest automotive talent in Italy right to him.
It's the perfect storm.
Yeah.
In late 1961, Ferrari experiences a massive internal upheaval known as the Palace Revolt.
This is wild.
Enzo's wife, Laura, had been heavily meddling in the day-to-day affairs of the factory, and the top executives and engineers had just had enough.
Right.
They issued an ultimatum to Enzo, essentially saying it's her or us.
Which is a terrible position to put an authoritarian CEO in.
The worst.
So Enzo, demanding total fealty, fires all of them on the spot.
He fires his chief engineer, Carlo Chidi, and his brilliant development engineer, Giodo Bizzarini.
The very men responsible for Ferrari's greatest track cars.
Exactly. Suddenly, the top automotive minds in Italy are out on the street, and they are eager to prove their former boss wrong.
So Ferruccio swoops in.
Naturally.
He hires Bizzarini to design a brand new V12 engine.
Yeah.
He buys land in Sant'Agata, which, by the way, is just 30 kilometers down the road from Maranello.
Placing himself right in Ferrari's backyard.
Yep. And he builds a state-of-the-art factory in a miraculous 4 months. It's a dead sprint to make the 1963 Turin Motor Show.
Because he wanted to unveil his first prototype, the 350 GTV, and basically punch Ferrari right in the mouth on the world stage.
But moving at that breakneck speed creates massive logistical problems.
Yeah, huge problems.
The Turin Motor Show arrives, the press is buzzing. The 350 GTV looks like a spaceship. But there is a monumental issue.
Yeah, a slight oversight.
When they try to put Bizzarini's masterpiece V12 engine into the car, it doesn't fit. The engine is too tall for the hood.
So they are at one of the biggest auto shows in the world with a car that has literally no engine in it.
And if you remove a massive V12 engine from the front of a car, the suspension decompresses.
Right, the front end just shoots up into the air.
It looks completely ridiculous, like a boat riding high on the water.
It's a disaster. So Ferruccio orders his team to load 500 pounds of ceramic floor tiles into the engine bay.
Floor tiles.
Yeah. The weight compresses the suspension, fixing the ride height so the car looks low and aggressive, and then they just lock the hood shut.
This is amazing.
When the press swarms the car, begging to see the engine that's going to dethrone Ferrari, Ferruccio just looks them dead in the eye and says the hood latch is jammed.
He literally lies to the press, citing mechanical difficulties.
Complete fabrication.
It is the ultimate fake it till you make it startup hustle. He sells the world on a pile of ceramic tiles. It's an incredible bluff.
But here's the thing. While the car on the show floor was a deception, the ambition behind it was entirely real.
Right.
They had the actual V12 engine on a stand next to the car, proving the engineering existed.
Okay, so it wasn't total vaporware.
No,
Right.
not at all. But without the Palace Revolt, Lamborghini might never have acquired the technical firepower to challenge Ferrari in the first place.
Right.
That one moment of internal chaos at Maranello gave Ferruccio the exact weapons he needed. And just months later, they tweaked the chassis, and the production version, the 350 GT, rolled out with the engine perfectly in place.
Which is incredible. And the 350 GT was a brilliant opening salvo. But the true killing blow of the car that changed the DNA of supercars forever arrived 3 years later.
1966.
The launch of the Lamborghini Miura.
The Miura is a seismic event in automotive history.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Up until this point, almost all road-going sports cars, including Ferraris, had the engine in the front under a really long hood.
But the Miura featured a revolutionary transverse mid-engine layout.
Yes.
They put the massive V12 engine right behind the driver's head. So why was that such a game changer?
Okay, think of a figure skater spinning on the ice.
Okay.
If they hold a heavy weight out at arm's length, they spin slowly, and it's hard to maintain balance.
Right.
But if they pull that weight tightly into the center of their chest, they spin incredibly fast with perfect stability.
Ah, I see.
Moving the heaviest part of the car, the engine, to the middle, gives the vehicle a much lower center of gravity and vastly superior cornering ability.
And the Miura was impossibly sleek, and it handled like a dream. It made Ferrari's front-engine cars look instantly obsolete. Ferruccio didn't just beat Enzo at his own game. He forced an entire industry to adopt a new standard.
Exact.
Every mid-engine supercar you see today traces its lineage directly back to the Miura.
It's an undeniable legacy, but the high of the Miura couldn't protect Lamborghini from the brutal macroeconomic reality of the 1970s.
Yeah, the world changed.
The geopolitical landscape shifts violently.
We have to talk about how this empire unravels. The 1970s oil crisis hits, and suddenly the market for gas-guzzling V12 supercars just evaporates overnight.
People can't even get fuel to fill them up.
Right.
And at the same time, Italy is paralyzed by severe union strikes.
Oh, wow.
Manufacturing just grinds to a halt, and then a massive, fatal blow hits Ferruccio's original tractor business.
The foundation of everything.
Yes. A military coup in Bolivia results in the cancellation of a massive international order of Lamborghini tractors.
And these weren't tractors that were just on paper. They were already built.
Sitting right on the docks.
Thousands of machines just sitting there. The capital was spent, and the revenue vanished instantly.
And the cash flow crisis is just insurmountable. Ferruccio is over-leveraged.
Yeah.
Between 1972 and 1974, he is forced to sell off his shares. He walks away from the very empire he built to destroy Ferrari.
That is heartbreaking.
He retires to a sprawling estate called La Fioripa to live out his days, returning to his agricultural roots.
Full circle.
Yeah, he hunts, he builds a golf course, and he starts a winery.
And in a brilliant nod to his automotive legacy, he names his signature wine Sangue di Miura, Blood of the Miura.
It's a great touch.
So what does this all mean? When we look at how this story ends, Ferrari largely stays independent. They maintain this mythic, untouchable identity.
Right.
But Lamborghini barely survives. They're navigating bankruptcies, getting passed between multiple corporate owners, from Chrysler to Audi.
Yeah, it was a rough road. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, Ferruccio's true victory wasn't just in creating a rival company.
What was it?
His victory was forcing evolution. Enzo Ferrari was perfectly content selling rough-around-the-edges, modified track cars to wealthy clients who didn't know any better.
Because he could get away with it.
Exactly. Lamborghini's relentless pursuit of perfection forced Enzo to actually improve his own road cars. He couldn't just rely on the Prancing horse badge anymore.
Right.
Lamborghini built competition, but more importantly, he built accountability.
It perfectly captures the split in their legacies. I mean, there's a famous quote from Frank Sinatra, who was a huge fan of the brand.
Oh, I know this one.
He said, "You buy a Ferrari when you want to be somebody. You buy a Lamborghini when you are somebody."
It's such a perfect summary of the vibe.
It is wild to look back on this journey. We started with a 10 lire clutch inside a mudcake tractor, and we ended up witnessing the creation of the modern supercar industry.
All because of a single fateful insult.
Yeah.
It's a striking reminder that sometimes the most profound innovations, they don't come from a spreadsheet or focus group or a board meeting.
No.
They come from deeply personal friction.
And that brings us to a final thought for you to mull over. Think about the psychological concept of narcissistic injury in the business world. When a powerful ego is bruised, the fallout can be world-changing. How many of the modern products, the tech monopolies, or the massive corporate empires that we rely on today weren't actually born from identifying a market need?
Right. How many were just spite?
Exactly. How many of them were secretly fueled by a single, undocumented insult in a boardroom?
It makes you wonder.
The next time you hear the smooth, precision hum of a modern marvel, ask yourself if it was actually born from the stubborn, grinding clatter of a tractor. Thank you for taking this deep dive into the sources with us.